Well, hello. Well, I just went to St. Paul tonight on the train bound for nowhere. Well, it's a ghost town. Well, and I was just sitting outside and I realized, you know, all those people were pretty much setups. Like Star. Well, and I could list them all off. You know? Well, and you said, Stephen, that you don't even need to say it. Well, and you said it's too late. You know, and Tara had been seeing Tim forever. Well, and you told Sean, and he knows that they took your kids away from you. Well, and then you didn't have to go to Granite Falls. Ross made you. And then you saw a picture of Ross on the internet with his shirt off. Well, you were looking at those sites. Hookup sites. Right. Well, who fucking cares? Well, and that's the thing. You told Sean, and Sean told you, Stephen, it doesn't matter. Well, what do you think he's doing right now? You said it's digging into his soul. Well, who do you think did all of it? Yeah, maybe it was meant to be a good thing. Like them watching you. But look what happened. Well, you said when you were on the internet at Cabrini, they were watching what you did. Oh, so internet's a great thing, especially in treatment since they're watching everything you did. Oh, hold on. Well, it wasn't like you weren't drinking, you know? Well, and big deal. You might as well have been on your Seroquel Trazodone coma. So the grapes can grow and they can make more wine. Well, and think about that, too, what you said outside. What a graveyard for the rest of them that you dragged here. Yeah, and you know, they sent you out of town to Granite Falls, and then she never came to see you with the kids. I mean, and you're right, it's too late. And you asked who's telling you all this information? Well, the people who fucking did it. You know? And be honest about it, right? Oh, yeah. You used. Well, so what? You could have stayed in a coma. A medication-induced coma. Oh, and I wonder why you were on all those meds. Well, and you just want to tell that guy to shut up. Well, and it's funny, too, that Sean just disappears. Well, you told them all to break down their temples. Who's going to help you when they're all broken up inside? Well, and you heard it outside. It was like, oh yeah, in Progress Valley, and Chris and Melanie, oh yeah, you're ordered to get help and stay in treatment and follow their recommendations. But Progress Valley, oh, we can't find any place for you, you're on your own. Go find a shelter. You know? Thanks. Well, and then when you called Jim or emailed him, it wasn't Jim. Oh, and he told you to call Brian. Oh, was that Brian? No. It's funny, like, yeah, like, oh my god, like, what did they do? Yeah, and Sean knows. Well, you said he was Tim before. Well, he might as well be Tara, too. I know, right? A good thing turned terribly wrong. And you're right. Once it's over, it's too late. You were right. I mean, your life is over. You know? Well, and you destroyed it the other day when you just were like, that's what I believe. And you know what you said about Chris, or Chrissy. Well, and what you said about Chris. You said he was an actor. Well, and they told you that it was Orrin who ratted on you, too. Oh, and then Sarah said it. A learned lesson. And Wabi and Polly. Get it? Well, and you're saying their names. So fucking what? They could be anybody's names. And notice how they forgot to mention that you were in Wilmer, you know, at Thanksgiving with Chrissy and Johnny and the girls. You know, well, you moved your stuff and Margie helped you. Yeah. Well, and it was your family, too. It was Margie, a lot of it. One, who do you think stole your computer in Golden Valley? Some lesson, huh? Now look at what's going on. Well, and Sean was right. I mean, you might as well just forget about Savannah and Mia. Well, and he can't even look at you sometimes. Why do you think at court Tara's parents were like looking at you like, when you said it was Nikki too? Well, it might as well have been both Nikkis. Well, they wanted you to do the SCNE and give her custody anyways. Look what's happening. You know, I mean, it's just, look what's happening. Well, and you could admit, like, a whole bunch of other things, but what does it matter? Well, you can admit that you were an addict. Well, that was already a given. Oh, but you know what they didn't know? Your whole life history. Oh, notice how it's like gonna start freezing? Well, and they didn't know your words behind it. You know. Not that that's an excuse. It is sort of an excuse. When you were right, you did feel like you were working on something important. Well, a lot of it was to make you feel again. And you know what? You didn't even... Star was hitting on you the entire time. And you were still trying to work things out with Tara. And you're right. You wanted companionship. Oh. Well, she broke your heart. And Sean's right. You were basically a sperm donor. And then he said you messed with the... You had children with the wrong woman. Well, ask some other man who's had, children with the wrong woman. Or with the, same thing for a woman. Ask them. I mean, maybe I was the wrong man for her. I don't regret having children with her, though. So it's just... You notice how that video of Nikki's house was on your computer? Where do you think all your other stuff is? Well, and this song kind of makes you sick now. I mean, what is Sean gonna say? He said, wait till I have something to say about it. And he's like, I don't want you getting involved. Well, guess what? I'm involved. Well, and Stephen, you're right about being a prisoner of war of the state of fucking Minnesota. I mean, right? You might as well get a thing on your back. Well, it feels like there's something on your back all the time. And what you said about the Buddhist geeks, and we wanted to test a man or Kim a man, analyze a man. For what? For what? Oh, and you'll say it now. I mean, they won't even let you have any sexual pleasures or meet anyone. Well, and you think you know what they're doing. And you're right about the tattletales. Well, I'm glad. Well, and maybe I did make a mistake of liking those people. Or seeing something else in them. Even that woman who was going crazy at Cabrini. I mean, I was even nice to her when everybody was making fun of her and trying to get her kicked out. I went up to her and I said, can I help you? No one else did that. Everybody else was complaining, saying that she was scaring them. And oh yeah, you know why? Because they're wrapped up in their own fucking worlds. And yeah, I'm swearing, I'm not that mad. But it's true. No one looked at them when they were... Well, they did. Probably their families looked at them when they were addicts and said, you're a waste of my time. And then they don't have the compassion to do that to somebody else. Oh, yeah. And my roommate was punching himself in the face, and I had to threaten staff to call 911 myself. I mean, he sat there on the chair, and I said, "Do you want me to do something about it?" And he was like, and I was like, "Forget it, I'll just call." You know? And yeah, Stephen, you were right. They were ripping you off when you were buying drugs. A lot. And then they were mad when you figured it out. Well, and think about Sean. If you think he was Tim before, I mean, and Savea and Mia said it in the video, or who's ever in their bodies. Nothing will ever compare to what they were. And you know what, Stephen? You didn't want any of this shit. You know, and your phone's broken. You might as well leave it broken. No one ever fucking calls you. And your own family writes like 2-year-olds. They might as well be in this building with you. Oh yeah, and there's these fuckers in here, in this building, that are interfering with your internet. Why do you think it takes 30 minutes to upload it? And the words get edited. Oh yeah, well maybe because there's audio and visual people in here and geeks. Well, maybe they're trying to fix what they fucked up. And that's never gonna work. Exactly. Yeah, and Sean called you a loon. Yeah, a protected species. $1 million Minnesota man. A Minnesota-made man. Courtesy of the state of Minnesota. You know, award of the state for what? 14 years? Or maybe 11. A product of my environment, which was treatment, torture, and drug addiction. Well, and you admitted it yourself. When people are in jail, they learn how to do drugs better. Well, and you said you did so much better when you were at 6 Dimensions. And that doesn't even matter. I mean, really, when it gets down to it, it's just like, it's fucked up. I know, swearing. Ooh. One, even if it was your whole family, what, the whole spiritual community, you know. What a bunch of cowards. And you might as well not even go to court. Well, Sean told you. It's been over for so long. And he said you told him, well, they probably just adopted Savea and Mia, and he was like, well, you knew Tara wasn't living at home. Well, and you can't go to her house. And Sean won't go over there. Oh, and then you were going to go apply for a job at Riverside. But you can't do that either because they restricted you to go there. You can't even go there. And to her parents' house, well, you said you looked him up. And they wiped out all their information online. What, Steve, you told Tara how to do that. And basically, you thought that Nikki was paying people. Well, and who better? Two nurses with the whole fucking nursing community. That's why you wouldn't talk to Jean. Well, until she found out about your life. And then I bet you she felt like shit. Well, think about what the other nurses must have thought. What you wrote about being stalked and like Tara telling you that she would choose her family over you any day. And how her mom cried when she said when we told her Sabea was going to be born. And left the table. And her dad was, he was happy. And yeah, when we were both tired and crabby with each other, and I asked you to tell your mom to leave, and you wouldn't tell her. And then she spanked Sabea. Oh, and then, well, of course you knew how bad I was abused. And I don't care. I would have still had kids with you. And I would still leave you. And if, you know what? There's an afterlife and then there's somebody that needs to take care of children. It would be you, Tara. Not you, Stephen, but I'm talking to Tara. And you're right, Stephen. You wouldn't want anybody to go through your life. You wouldn't want anybody to be punished like that. It was horrible enough for yourself. And you also said you just killed sadomasochism too. You kind of neutralized it. How does that feel? What? Well, you know that you could delete all this music. Well, and it doesn't even matter. You're never going to do what they want. You'll never do what they want, and you won't wake up one day and somewhere else. Well, you keep figuring this shit out, Stephen. You basically figured out who the people on Facebook were. Are. You might as well cut this off. You notice how Sean says, oh, I just leave that ring anywhere? Well, and like on the sink and stuff. And he left it that night? What do you think he went to do? Well, and you said it earlier. If there's a Holy Spirit, it's probably beating itself up for the way it treated you. Yeah, you might as well play that song. And you might as well be saying it about yourself. Well, you'll stand trial, all right. Well, you basically said that you're your own God, and then you told everybody else to destroy themselves. And you're right, it is kind of a graveyard for you. I know you were going to do this earlier. I know, right? There's no need for it. I mean, really, basically, that's what you did. You just get it closer, right? I mean, you did that to yourself. And no one's saying that you didn't have reason to drink, because I think you understand why. Well, especially when you started digging in the past and all those old records. Well, and then you started remembering, and you remembered more. I mean, more of your memory. There's still parts that are blocked. I don't even think they can't get to them. Yeah, a POW of Minnesota. And then you wonder why everybody has those. And everybody's carrying backpacks. Well, Sean said it's probably just everybody who hurt you. When you said it's all of humanity. When you wouldn't even try to call it. Well, you can't. It's perfect now. You have no phone. You might as well not even go to the Apple store. And those videos that somehow they don't want you to post. I wonder why. You said it was the most damning and truthful thing you've ever said. And if it's Sean, who somehow is this higher being, then think about that. What kind of punishment is he in for? Or did he dish out? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that. Think about it. Even if it's the souls of your ancestors, Stephen, it's like... And you wouldn't want anybody to get hurt. That's crazy. And they deserve it. And we want to chem a man, analyze a man. I know, clever, right? The Buddhist geeks. The Jews and the Romans working together. Well, and then timber. Well, and it's funny, too. Omar Jamal was like, oh, I don't remember you. And wasn't it funny that he was at the UN, but then in St. Paul? Yeah, well, and there's no blame. I don't blame anybody. I don't even blame myself anymore. I destroyed myself, so, like... And no, time isn't a healer. Well, I destroyed these songs, too. I threw them in the garbage. Well, you might as well play that song, too. Well, and it's funny. I mean, it was good when you were talking to the other video over here in the corner. The video from the other night. It was like you were talking to yourself. Well, and you know what you said, so you can tell when they edit it. Well, and you know who the cowards in this building are. Yeah. Nuns and priests have sexual desires, and I am not a nun or a priest or a monk. Well, and the thing you always said is, if somebody would say, "Oh, Stephen, you died, and this is like Resurrection Alley," you'd be like, "Oh, okay." Or if somebody said, "Yeah, we're sorry they took your kids," and just looked at you and said, "And this whole thing has been just something to help them feel better about the lies that they did," I'd be like, "Oh. Yeah." And you wonder who stole your phone. Again, when you were out that night, you ended up having somebody else's phone in your pocket. Oh, and you were nice enough to give it back. Well, and you know that all those guys that you were talking to on the internet were a lot of the same people. Well, and Cabrini knew what you were doing because you were online. So think about that. And how funny it was for them to read your stuff. And Sonia laughing at you. And Monty always saying, "How are you?" You know. Wasn't that funny that your treatment place was spying on you and then making fun of you? Wasn't that funny? You know. And Sean won't even text you back. I bet you he's like, I can't even look at him. When you're gonna do these videos for Savea and Mia every day. Oh, you know what about angels? Well, they have no right. Well, that would be, guess who would get in trouble? I know, and they keep trying to say, well, you're so-and-so, you're so-and-so. Well, that's because they see you as different people, Stephen. And Sean's like, well, it's not Ricky. He goes, well, it's Rick now. Now, you know. When you keep thinking about your consciousness is in this different body, or in your body, but you know what you look like without your glasses on. Well, and you could just keep going on and on and on, and you could keep that cycle of rebirth thing going and going, and destroying and destroying and destroying and building and building. And it'll never be enough, is right. I mean, not having Savea and Mia will never be healed. I mean, you basically told everybody that that was your world. And even if your daughters did it, you know, that'll never be healed. I And I don't know what to do about that either. It'll just be a cycle of pain then. Because I'll broadcast these every day. And wouldn't it be funny if they tried to say, well, you're so-and-so. Well, you saw that was going to happen. And you fucked that up too, because you thought they were going to send you to Georgia. I mean, you heard that in your mind at Cabrini. And you were like you were their property. Well, and you were right about Zell. He was like, I don't want anything to do with this. Or William, or whatever his name was. I mean, they might as well kill you. I mean, really. Look what they did. I mean, what else can they take? And you don't have anything. You have like $3. You might think I'm your enemy, but that don't make you mine. All I have now is well, and it's funny too, because it doesn't really bother you that much. You know? It doesn't, you know. But you'll continue this. And you know what? You might be right when you said it would break heavens. It would make heaven cry. You know. Or maybe the whole entire spirit. And you don't even care about that. You think it's kind of funny. And that song makes you sick now. Not this one, but that this will be my monument. Look at all those fancy clothes, but these could keep us warm. And you would give those girls to Tara here anyways, because they're, well, Sean said they're not yours here. And what did he say? Well, he said, well, you'll have daughters and they'll all have sons there. And you're like, I don't even fucking care about kids anymore. I mean, they destroyed that. I mean, I care. But why would I want to bring children again into this hell? That's why I was like, I don't want them here. Look at you out to make a deal. You try to be appealing, but you lose your deal. Right? I mean, and you know what? To be honest, there is no reason to like even. You were right. You should have just let her kill them all. Well, and you know what? You don't even care if it's over. It'll never be over. You know, all those releases that you rescinded? Think about that. And you signed them all. In what? The pages of heaven? It was basically everyone that you... Well, and Sean was like, don't mail those. And I was like, I signed them all. Take what's left of this heart. Well, and you said that to Sean too. You were like, it, and he said it doesn't matter here. I was like, well, I could just probably use then. But you know, you don't even feel like it. You're like, right, and you sent Apple an email saying, are on your reservation, and you know who's going to be down there. Dumbasses, friends. I know, right? Why don't you just come over here? Oh, well, Sean was like, well, he probably doesn't live there anymore. I think it's funny that Sean, he can't even be here. He gets up in the middle of the night and leaves. Well, can you imagine why? You have to ask yourself, did he really ever love you in the first place, Stephen? But this is all that you had. So please. Well, and it doesn't make it any better. Well, there's none left. Oh, here. This is what you said you were going to do. Well, and you did this the other day perfectly. You just destroyed it all. You hurt yourself to see if you still bled. I hurt myself today. Right? To see if I still feel. Oh, no. The lead. I focus on the pain. The only thing that's real. And doesn't this sound like? The needle tears a hole. The old familiar sting. Try to kill it all over. There you go, Stephen. That's you. Right there.